Cole Young, a washed-up MMA fighter, discovers he bears a mysterious dragon marking, a sign of his destiny to fight for Earthrealm. He's drawn into a secret war against Outworld, whose emperor seeks to conquer Earthrealm by eliminating its champions before the sacred Mortal Kombat tournament can even begin. With the help of seasoned warriors and his own growing powers, Cole must embrace his heritage to protect his family and the fate of humanity.
Stick around either.
Lose the 10th tournament.
I killed.
There will be no tournament.
It's 2300. Boys back there. It's after both. It's not a birthmark, Cole. Fight.
You got the wrong person, all right?
As long as you got that mark in the company. Now get out of here. So you can play hide and seek.
Just sit tight.
The fuck was that?
Where?
Kano! Use the flare!
There you are.
Take whatever trophy. Raiden.
It is forbidden to claim.
Conflict outside of Mortal Kombat.
Lock your arcana.
You know, maybe your arcanas get. And again.
As though we have our work cut out for us.
It changed me, did you?
This is not the blood that's no worth.
You're still good enough for me.
Now I
Get in the truck! Get in the truck!
Thank you for the heart that your bloodline still lives on. Smart before they die. Filling the void. It is.
Sonya.
Please tell me.
But he's got a laser now. Watch out. Take Melina and Cabal. I know this is...
Zero. Nobody's taking him out.
Tell me, Blondie.
Hey guys, today we are diving headfirst into the blood-soaked arena of Mortal Kombat 2021, a movie that truly punched its way onto our screens and into our hearts, or at least our spines. We're going to recount every bone-crunching, soul-snatching moment, tracing the journey of our new hero and the classic fighters we know and love. I put a lot of work into these, so if you like what you see, a like and a subscribe is always appreciated. No worries if not. Our story doesn't kick off with Cole Young in a dingy MMA ring. Oh no, we're transported back to feudal Japan, 1617, to a serene, snow-covered village. The air is crisp, the silence punctuated only by the soft crunch of snow underfoot and the distant calls of nature. We meet Hanzo Hasashi, a proud warrior, working in his garden, his movements fluid and purposeful, a stark contrast to the brutal destiny awaiting him. He walks into his home, a simple yet warm sanctuary, to greet his family, his wife Harumi, and their young son Jubei. The domestic tranquility is almost palpable, a quiet joy that feels fragile in its perfection. Harumi, pregnant with their second child, smiles, and the scene radiates peace. Suddenly, the idyllic quiet is shattered. The ground begins to vibrate, a low hum that quickly escalates into a guttural growl, and the world outside darkens with an unnatural chill. An unholy blizzard, a torrent of ice and wind descends upon their village, sweeping through the trees with an almost malevolent force. The wooden structures groan under the onslaught. Hanzo, sensing immediate danger, glances out. He sees it, or rather, he senses him. Baihan, a formidable figure clad in dark, imposing armor, whose presence itself seems to lower the temperature. This isn't just a blizzard, it's a supernatural assault. Hanzo quickly instructs Harumi to hide with Jubei. She clutches their son, her eyes wide with fear but also determination, and retreats to a secret compartment beneath the floorboards. Hanzo emerges, katana in hand, his stance resolute. The icy wind whips around him, stinging his exposed skin, but he stands firm, a beacon of defiance. Baihan, radiating an aura of absolute cold, approaches, his footsteps heavy on the frozen earth. There's a subtle shimmer of ice forming on the ground around him with every step, and the air itself seems to crackle with static electricity. He speaks, his voice a low, chilling rumble, accusing Hanzo of betraying their clan. Hanzo denies it, his voice calm despite the encroaching dread, but Baihan is unmoved, driven by a deep-seated hatred. The fight explodes. It's a ballet of lethal force, blades clashing with an ear-splitting metallic shriek, fists connecting with sickening thuds. Hanzo, agile and precise, moves like a phantom, dodging ice shards that erupt from Baihan's hands, their sharp edges whistling past his ear. Baihan in turn is a force of nature, summoning walls of ice, freezing the ground to trip his opponent, his powerful blows carrying the weight of a glacier. The sounds are sharp, brutal. The whoosh of air as a fist narrowly misses, the clank of metal, the deep thwack of a body hitting a snowdrift. Despite Hanzo's prowess, the sheer overwhelming power of Baihan, wielding the very elements, begins to turn the tide. Hanzo, realizing the direness of the situation, instructs his remaining villagers to flee, urging them to scatter and spread word of the attack, sacrificing himself to buy them time. The villagers, a handful of brave souls, scatter into the blizzard, their cries swallowed by the wind. But Baihan is relentless, effortlessly dispatching Hanzo's allies, his ice powers turning flesh to brittle statues. One by one, Hanzo's people fall. Hanzo, wounded and desperate, finally falls. Baihan, the victor, reveals his true, terrifying intent, the complete annihilation of the Hasashi bloodline. He strides into Hanzo's home, his heavy boots crushing the pristine snow. The wooden door splinters under his might. Hanzo, his breath ragged, can only watch in horror as Baihan finds Harumi and Jubei. In a chilling moment, Baihan plunges an ice dagger into Harumi's chest. Her dying gasp is a faint whisper, a desperate plea for her child. Jubei, terrified, is then taken by Baihan as an infant, his fate uncertain. Hanzo, with his last ounce of strength, staggers back into his burning home, driven by a primal need to protect his family. He finds Harumi's dead body, cradling her head, his face a mask of grief and fury. He then discovers their newborn, still hidden, miraculously alive in the secret compartment. With a desperate plea to an unknown entity to protect his child, Hanzo collapses, succumbing to his wounds. As his life ebbs away, his soul is dragged to the Netherrealm, a place of eternal torment, consumed by vengeance. The fire consumes his home, turning it into a pyre, a tragic monument to a family destroyed. Fast forward centuries, we are introduced to Cole Young, a modern-day descendant of Hanzo Hasashi, though he knows nothing of his ancestry. The scene is starkly different, a brightly lit, overly enthusiastic MMA ring with flashing lights and a roaring crowd. Cole, a fighter past his prime, is introduced with a splashy graphic, his name announced by an energetic ring announcer. He's in the cage, a picture of focused intensity, but also a hint of weariness in his eyes. He's good, but not great, fighting to pay the bills, a common man in a world of extraordinary violence. He takes a beating in the ring, the sound of punches landing with a sickening thud reverberating through the arena speakers. The crowd, a mix of dedicated fans and casual observers, roars its approval for the spectacle of violence. He's outmatched, but he never quits, embodying a quiet resilience. He gets knocked out, a heavy blow to the head causing a momentary blackout, and he slumps to the canvas. The crowd goes wild, a mixture of cheers and groans. After the fight, we see Cole's home life. He's a devoted family man, his rough exterior melting away when he's with his daughter, Emily, and wife, Allison. They live in a modest house, the walls adorned with Emily's drawings, a stark contrast to the brutal world of the ring. Allison is supportive, but clearly worried about Cole's fighting career, the physical toll it takes on him. Emily, innocent and perceptive, notices the bruises, the weariness in her father's eyes. Cole, trying to make light of his defeat, attempts to cheer them up, but the underlying tension is palpable. He sees a strange, dragon-shaped birthmark on his chest in the mirror, an unusual mark he's always had but never truly understood. He brushes it off as a mere curiosity. One night, after a particularly grueling training session, Cole is approached by a mysterious, ice-wielding assassin, Sub-Zero, the very same Baihan who slaughtered his ancestor. The streetlights flicker, casting long, dancing shadows, and the air around Cole suddenly drops several degrees. His breath mists in front of him. A deep, resonant hum fills the night, a sound that vibrates through Cole's bones. Sub-Zero emerges from the darkness, a figure of pure, terrifying malevolence, his eyes glowing with an eerie blue light. He moves with an unnatural swiftness, effortlessly freezing elements of the environment, turning a mundane alleyway into a lethal trap. Cole, caught off guard, instinctively defends himself, his MMA training kicking in, but he's utterly outmatched. The fight is brief and brutal. Sub-Zero, with a casual flick of his wrist, launches a razor-sharp ice blade that whistles past Cole's ear, embedding itself in the brick wall with a crack. Cole dodges, his heart pounding, the cold stinging his skin. Sub-Zero throws an ice ball which shatters against a dumpster with a deafening bang, sending icy shrapnel flying. Cole, desperate, manages to land a punch, but it's like hitting a block of granite. Sub-Zero barely flinches. Just as Sub-Zero is about to deliver a fatal blow, a black SUV comes screeching around the corner, its tires spitting gravel. It's Jax, a hulking special forces major with a bionic arm, his face a grim mask of determination. Jax, armed with a heavy assault rifle, opens fire. The sound of rapid gunfire blazes through the night, echoing off the buildings. Sub-Zero, surprised by the sudden intervention, expertly deflects the bullets with a shimmering shield of ice, the impacts making sharp ping noises. He retaliates, launching a barrage of ice shards that tear through the car's bodywork with a rip and a tear. Jax, a veteran of countless battles, manages to create a distraction, allowing Cole to escape. As Cole flees, he hears the horrific sounds of the battle intensifying behind him, the snap of freezing metal, the gasp of a powerful man in pain. Jax, in a heroic but ultimately devastating move, confronts Sub-Zero directly. The fight is short and brutal. Sub-Zero, with terrifying precision, freezes and shatters Jax's natural arms. The crack of bone, the shriek of metal, and Jax's guttural scream of agony are horrifying. Cole, horrified, looks back to see Jax's mangled form before he's forced to keep running, a chilling image burned into his mind. Cole, shaken to his core, tries to warn his family. He rushes home, his heart thumping against his ribs, the metallic taste of fear in his mouth. He explains what happened, the words tumbling out in a frantic rush, but Allison and Emily, understandably, are skeptical. It sounds like something out of a bad dream. Just as they're trying to process the unbelievable story, a mysterious woman named Sonya Blade arrives. She's a no-nonsense, highly intelligent military operative, her eyes sharp and observant. She's been tracking these strange occurrences, particularly the dragon mark phenomenon, which she explains is known as an arcana, a mark of a chosen champion destined to fight in Mortal Kombat. She reveals that Jax is her partner, and he's been tracking these marks for years, his research hinting at a greater conspiracy. She believes Cole is one of these chosen champions. Sonya explains the lore, the gravity of the situation. Earthrealm, our world, is one of several realms. For millennia, a sacred tournament called Mortal Kombat has been held. If one realm wins 10 consecutive tournaments, it gains the right to invade and conquer the losing realm. Outworld, led by the sinister sorcerer Shang Tsung, has won 9 straight. If they win the 10th, Earthrealm is doomed. But Shang Tsung, impatient and ruthless, isn't waiting for the tournament. He's sending his deadliest assassins to eliminate Earthrealm's champions before the fight can even begin, thereby forfeiting Earthrealm's chance. Cole's dragon mark signifies he is a champion, even if he doesn't know it yet. Sonya, however, does not possess the mark, a source of frustration for her, as she's dedicated her life to understanding and combating this threat. She is, however, privy to much of the intel on the various champions and their enemies. Cole, Allison, and Emily are taken to Sonya's hidden bunker, a well-stocked, dimly lit safe house filled with high-tech equipment and maps covered in cryptic markings. The bunker hums with the soft whir of electronics. Sonya briefs them further, showing them photos and schematics of various Outworld creatures and champions. She reveals that Jax, though severely wounded, is alive and being treated in a secure medical facility. Her dedication to Jax and her mission is clear. Their only hope, she explains, is to seek out Lord Raiden, the protector of Earthrealm and overseer of the Mortal Kombat tournament. He resides at a remote temple, a sanctuary for Earthrealm's chosen. Their journey to Raiden's temple is anything but straightforward. Sonya has intel on another marked champion, a mercenary named Kano, known for his brutish fighting style and foul mouth. They track him to his heavily fortified compound in the Australian outback. The sun beats down relentlessly, the air thick with dust and the smell of dry earth. The compound itself is a ramshackle collection of corrugated iron and barbed wire, humming with generators and the distant sounds of gunfire from target practice. They infiltrate the compound, moving stealthily through the shadows, the crunch of their boots on the gravel muffled by the vast emptiness of the outback. They find Kano in the middle of a brutal, unsanctioned fight, a bare-knuckle brawl against a group of desperate men. He's a vicious fighter, fueled by primal rage, and his signature laser eye glows ominously as he dispatches his opponents with a sickening series of cracks and thuds. He's a chaotic force, loud and unpredictable, his insults and grunts echoing through the makeshift arena. After a brief, tense standoff, Kano, ever the opportunist, agrees to join them for a price. He's skeptical of the whole chosen champion prophecy, but sees potential profit in the venture. His sarcastic remarks and crude humor immediately inject a different energy into the group, a welcome, if unsettling shift from the grim determination of Cole and Sonya. He's a walking contradiction, dangerous yet strangely endearing in his villainy, always with a cynical comment ready. He examines Cole's mark with a smirk, calling it a tramp stamp. Their escape from the compound is chaotic, a flurry of gunfire and explosions as Kano's former associates, disgruntled by his sudden departure, pursue them. The jeep roars across the dusty landscape, bullets pinging off the metal, narrowly missing their heads. Jax, perched on the back, gleefully fires back, his laughter echoing over the sounds of the chase. Their next leg of the journey involves a rickety plane piloted by Kano, who insists on listening to loud, questionable music, filling the cramped cabin with an unsettling mix of engine noise and heavy metal. The flight is turbulent, the plane groaning under the strain, and Cole and Sonya exchange worried glances. Kano, unabit to their discomfort, cracks jokes and swigs from a flask. He's a loose cannon, a chaotic element, but also undeniably effective. During the flight, Kano, ever the provocateur, discovers a mysterious glowing dragon egg among Sonya's research materials. He eyes it with suspicion and a glint of greed. They arrive at Raiden's temple, a majestic, ancient structure carved into the side of a mountain, shrouded in mist and exuding an aura of immense power. The air here is clean and cold, smelling faintly of ozone. The temple is a stark, almost monastic place, filled with the soft rustle of ceremonial robes and the hushed whispers of guardians. Here, they meet Liu Kang, a Shaolin monk, his movements graceful and precise, and Kung Lao, a descendant of the great Kung Lao, confident and wielding a deadly, razor-sharp hat. Liu Kang's voice is calm, filled with ancient wisdom, while Kung Lao is more assertive, almost arrogant, his spinning hat a constant reminder of his lethal capabilities. Raiden himself, the god of thunder, is an imposing figure, his eyes glowing with ethereal blue energy, his voice deep and resonating with divine authority. He's weary, burdened by the weight of Earthrealm's fate, but still immensely powerful. Raiden explains the rules of Mortal Kombat in more detail, emphasizing the sacredness of the tournament and the absolute necessity of training to awaken their arcana, their innate supernatural powers linked to their dragon marks. He reveals the prophecy. Hanzo Hasashi's bloodline, represented by Cole, is destined to unite Earthrealm's champions and defeat Outworld. This revelation weighs heavily on Cole, who suddenly feels the burden of generations on his shoulders. He's just an MMA fighter, not a mythical hero. The training begins. The atmosphere inside the temple is intense, a mix of ancient rituals and rigorous physical conditioning. Liu Kang and Kung Lao, both seasoned warriors, demonstrate their impressive powers. Liu Kang conjures fireballs, the whoosh and crackle of flames filling the air, and moves with incredible speed. Kung Lao spins his hat, its sharp edge whistling menacingly as he carves through training dummies, his presence magnetic. Cole struggles. He trains relentlessly, pushing his body to its limits, but his arcana refuses to manifest. He's frustrated, a deep well of self-doubt swirling within him. He can hear the thud of his punches against the training bags, the gasp of his own breath, but no magical powers emerge. He feels like an imposter among demigods. Sonya, without a mark, is also denied entry to the inner training. She's confined to the library, poring over ancient texts, her frustration growing with every page. She's a warrior at heart, and being sidelined chafes at her if. But her research is invaluable, as she pieces together crucial information about Outworld's champions and their weaknesses. Kano, on the other hand, embraces the chaos. His arcana awakens almost immediately, manifesting as his signature laser eye, firing a searing red beam with a loud zap. He uses it to cheat in training exercises, to blast inanimate objects for fun, and generally to cause mayhem. He's a total menace, but undeniably powerful. "Well, look at that. A party trick I can take to Vegas," he quips, blasting a vase. The tension at the temple builds. Outworld is not idle. Shang Tsung, impatient and cunning, launches a preemptive strike on the temple, violating the sacred rules of Mortal Kombat. The attack is sudden and brutal. The temple, once a sanctuary, becomes a battleground. The sounds are deafening. The crash of falling stone, the shrieks of Outworld creatures, the clash of weapons. Goro, a massive four-armed Shokan warrior, bursts through a wall with a thunderous boom, his roar shaking the very foundations of the temple. Reptile, a stealthy, acid-spitting creature, slithers through the shadows, its hiss a chilling promise of death. Melina, with her monstrous fanged mouth, attacks with a flurry of sigh, their scrape against stone sending shivers down the spine. Reiko, a hulking warrior with a hammer, crashes through obstacles with devastating force. Cabal, a speed demon with hooked swords, zips through the fray, leaving a trail of destruction. The Earthrealm champions are forced into a desperate defense. Liu Kang unleashes fiery fury, his fists glowing, incinerating enemies with bursts of flame. Kung Lao slices through foes with his hat, its razor edge whirring like a deadly saw, his movements a blur. Cole, still without his arcana, fights with raw grit and his MMA skills, his punches landing with dull thuds against armored foes, but he's quickly overwhelmed. He's like a fish out of water, trying to fight sharks with his bare hands. Sonya, using her military training and weapons, holds her own, her shots cracking through the melee, taking down weaker opponents, which she's constantly exposed to greater threats. The fight is a chaotic, brutal dance of survival. In the midst of the battle, Kano, true to his opportunistic nature, makes his move. While everyone is distracted, he slips away, drawn by the promise of greater power and wealth. He locates the dragon egg, the very artifact Sonya had been researching, and steals it. He then openly betrays Earthrealm, abandoning his allies and joining Shang Tsung's forces, a mischievous grin on his face. "Sorry, mates, heard the pay was better on the other side," he yells, as his laser eye blazes as he blasts a surprised temple guard. His defection is a bitter blow, not just strategically, but emotionally, solidifying his role as a true villain. Shang Tsung welcomes him, his sinister smile hinting at the dark rewards awaiting Kano. Raiden, seeing the dire situation, is forced to intervene, unleashing a blast of lightning that drives back the Outworld forces, a blinding flash and a thunderous crack echoing through the temple. The air smells of ozone. He then reveals a devastating truth. The dragon egg is a key component in a dark ritual, a way for Shang Tsung to empower his champions and completely circumvent the tournament rules. He declares that the chosen champions must now scatter, seek out the remaining Earthrealm champions, and regroup for a counterattack. The battle for Earthrealm is now an all-out war. The group splits. Sonya, determined to retrieve the dragon egg and stop Kano, goes with Cole. She blames herself for Kano's treachery, for ever trusting him. Her resolve is cold and sharp like a newly forged blade. Their mission is clear: find Kano, recover the egg, and potentially disable Shang Tsung's ritual. Meanwhile, Liu Kang and Kung Lao are tasked with protecting the remaining Earthrealm champions and preparing for the inevitable confrontations. Jax, who had been recovering from his injuries in a hidden chamber, slowly begins to manifest his arcana. His bionic arms, once mere prosthetics, begin to hum with a blue energy, growing larger and more powerful. The metallic whine of gears and hydraulics gives way to a deep, resonant thrum. He trains relentlessly, his pain fueling his transformation. His new arms become weapons of incredible strength. The sound of his monstrous metal fists crushing training dummies is a terrifying testament to his newfound power. Cole and Sonya track Kano to a desolate, abandoned factory, a grim industrial wasteland shrouded in perpetual gloom. The air is thick with the smell of rust and decay, and the only sounds are the creak of rusted metal and the drip of unseen water. Shang Tsung is there, overseeing the dark ritual with the stolen dragon egg. The ritual space is illuminated by an eerie green light, the air heavy with dark magic and the chanting of sorcerers. Kano stands guard, a smug look on his face, his laser eye gleaming with malevolent satisfaction. A fierce confrontation ensues. Cole, still without his arcana, fights with raw primal instinct. He lunges at Kano, throwing himself into the fray with desperate fury, his punches landing with satisfying thuds. Kano, empowered by his arcana and arrogance, taunts Cole, easily dodging blows, his laser eyes zapping past Cole's head. Sonya, however, shines. She's a tactical genius, observing the environment, identifying Kano's weaknesses. She outsmarts him, using her military training to set traps and exploit the factory's dilapidated structure. She corners him, her fists flying, her kicks landing with precise smacks. It's a brutal, close-quarters combat. Sonya, despite not having an arcana, fights with the force of a tornado, her determination a palpable weapon. The clang of their blows echoes through the cavernous factory. Finally, in a moment of desperate ingenuity, Sonya uses a discarded garden gnome as a projectile, launching it at Kano's laser eye with a powerful thwack. The impact is jarring, causing Kano's eye to short-circuit, showering sparks and a loud sizzle. His arcana, his power, is temporarily disabled. He screams in pain and rage. Sonya, seizing the opportunity, finishes him with a precise, brutal blow to the head, finally avenging Jax and securing the dragon egg. The crack of his skull is sickeningly audible, and Kano slumps to the ground, unconscious or worse. She retrieves the egg, its eerie green glow pulsating in her hands. Meanwhile, Cole faces his own desperate battle. He's cornered by Goro, the four-armed behemoth. The clash is thunderous, the thump of Goro's heavy fists against the concrete floor shaking the entire factory. Cole, completely outmatched physically, takes a brutal beating. He's thrown around like a rag doll, each impact causing him to grunt in pain. He sees his family in his mind's eye, his daughter Emily's face, and a surge of protective fury ignites something deep within him. It's a primal instinct, the very essence of a father's love. In that moment, a desperate cry for strength, his arcana finally awakens. His skin becomes covered in shimmering golden armor, glowing with internal energy, and two arm blades erupt from his forearms with a metallic snick and a whir. This armor absorbs incoming blows, creating an almost impenetrable defense, and allows him to dish out powerful, enhanced attacks. The sudden shift is visually stunning, his once ordinary form transforming into something truly formidable. "Oh, now you show up?" he mutters, a hint of sarcasm even in the moment of his transformation. The fight with Goro immediately shifts. Cole, now empowered, moves with newfound agility, his armor deflecting Goro's crushing blows with a resonant clang. He dodges, weaves, and counterattacks, his arm blades slicing through Goro's tough hide, drawing gouts of green blood with a squish. Goro, surprised by Cole's transformation, roars in frustration, his powerful blows now useless. The clash is epic, a cacophony of metal on flesh, roars of fury, and the triumphant zing of Cole's blades. Cole, channeling his rage and protective instinct, finally delivers a decisive blow, impaling Goro with his blades. The mighty Shokan falls with a seismic thud, his reign of terror over. Cole stands panting, his armor still shimmering, the adrenaline coursing through him. He looks at his hands, marveling at his newfound power. With the dragon egg recovered and Kano defeated, Sonya and Cole regroup with the other champions. Raiden recognizes Sonya's bravery and skill, her courage and determination, proving she is a true champion despite the lack of a mark. He gifts her, the now inert dragon egg, which, in her hands, absorbs her fierce fighting spirit and transforms into a powerful energy-blasting gauntlet, complete with a powerful laser and an intense hum. She has effectively manifested her own arcana through sheer will and sacrifice, proving that not all powers are granted by destiny. Well, that's one way to get a new accessory, she quips, testing the weapon. The final confrontation is set. Shang Tsung, furious at the disruption of his ritual and the loss of his champions, unleashes the full might of his remaining forces. It's a multi-stage, high-stakes battle across various locations, each hero facing their personal nemesis or a formidable opponent. Jax versus Reiko. Jax, fully embracing his new bionic arms, faces Reiko, the hulking hammer wielder. The fight is a brutal exchange of heavy blows, the crash of metal on metal echoing through the arena. Jax's new arms glow with blue energy, delivering earth-shattering punches that send shockwaves through the ground. Reiko, with his massive hammer, counters with powerful sweeping attacks, the whoosh of air preceding each devastating strike. Jax, fueled by the memory of his shattered arms and Sonya's unwavering belief, finally unleashes a crushing blow, his bionic fists smashing Reiko's head, a sickening crunch confirming his victory. Liu Kang versus Cabal. Liu Kang, the disciplined Shaolin monk, confronts Cabal, the lightning-fast speedster. The battle is a blur of motion, Cabal zipping around the arena with impossible speed, his hooked sword swishing and clanging against Liu Kang's fire-infused fists. Liu Kang, calm and focused, uses his fireballs strategically, leaving trails of flame that hiss as they dissipate. He anticipates Cabal's movements, finally trapping him in a fiery embrace, the roaring flames consuming Cabal in a blinding flash. Kung Lao versus Mileena. Kung Lao, ever the confident showman, squares off against Mileena. It's a graceful yet deadly dance, Kung Lao's hat whirring and slicing through the air with precision, his movements fluid and almost balleretic. Mileena, with her feral aggression and sharp sigh, counters with rapid, unpredictable attacks, her monstrous fanged mouth emitting guttural snarls. Kung Lao, using his agility and the versatility of his hat, manages to decapitate Mileena in a spectacular, gruesome fashion, her head spinning through the air with a faint whiz before landing with a wet thud. Cole versus Sub-Zero. Cole, still grieving the deaths of his ancestors at Sub-Zero's hands, faces his family's tormentor. This is not just a fight, it's a deeply personal vendetta. Cole's armor glows, absorbing the frigid blasts of Sub-Zero's ice powers. The air crackles with ice and energy. Sub-Zero, cold and relentless, creates ice clones and launches sharp ice daggers, each hissing as it cuts through the air. Cole, now in full control of his arcana, uses his arm blades to deflect, counter, and move with surprising agility, his own energy-infused attacks matching the intensity of Sub-Zero's ice. The clang of their weapons, the shatter of ice, and the deep thump of impacts resonate through the environment. Sub-Zero's ice powers are formidable, encasing Cole in a block of ice at one point, but Cole's armor absorbs the impact and allows him to break free with a powerful crack. Just as Sub-Zero is about to deliver a fatal blow to Cole, an ominous red portal opens. A figure emerges, wreathed in fire and smoke, his eyes burning with infernal glow. It is Scorpion, Hanzo Hasashi, returned from the Netherrealm, consumed by centuries of rage and vengeance. He's a force of pure, distilled fury, his iconic chain dart whooshing through the air with a terrifying zing. His arrival is met with a deafening boom of thunder and the hiss of fire and ice colliding. The air instantly becomes superheated in his presence, contrasting sharply with Sub-Zero's chilling aura.
Scorpion confronts Sub-Zero, their battle a clash of primal elements. Fire against ice, hellfire against frost. Their movements are incredibly fast, almost supernatural. Scorpion's chain dart, "Get over here!" snaps through the air, impaling Sub-Zero with incredible force. Sub-Zero retaliates with freezing blasts, attempting to encase Scorpion in ice. The sounds are a symphony of destruction, the crackling of Scorpion's hellfire, the shattering of Sub-Zero's ice, the clang of their weapons. Cole, briefly stunned, sees an opportunity to assist. He works with Scorpion, combining their powers in a devastating final attack. Cole's armor absorbs Sub-Zero's icy blasts, creating an opening, and then Scorpion unleashes his full hellfire, engulfing Sub-Zero in an inferno. The scream of Sub-Zero as he's consumed by fire is chillingly prolonged, a final, horrifying testament to the power of vengeance. Scorpion, his vengeance complete, looks at Cole, a silent acknowledgement of their shared lineage, and then vanishes back into the Netherrealm, leaving behind a lingering scent of sulfur and ash. The Earthrealm champions, battered but victorious, gather. Shang Tsung appears, furious at the defeat of his champions. He tries to escape, his voice a guttural snarl, promising to return with an even deadlier army. "This is not over! You fools have merely delayed the inevitable!" he bellows, his form flickering. Raiden, however, prevents his full escape, using his lightning to force Shang Tsung back, a blinding flash and a thunderous crack! He banishes the remaining Outworld forces back to their realm, the ground shaking as portals close with violent swooshes. In the aftermath, Raiden declares that while the immediate threat is neutralized, Outworld will inevitably return, stronger and more determined. The true Mortal Kombat tournament has yet to happen. He reveals that they still need more champions to stand a chance. Cole, now fully embracing his role, his arcana active and ready, accepts the responsibility. He takes on a new mission to find and unite the remaining Earthrealm champions, including a certain Hollywood action star known for his martial arts prowess. "Time to go recruitin'," Cole says, a new sense of purpose in his voice. The movie ends with Cole leaving his family, a promise of a new future in his eyes, his journey as a true champion just beginning. The camera pans to a poster on his wall for Johnny Cage, implying the next champion on their list, a subtle nod to the future. This journey has been a crucible, forging ordinary individuals into extraordinary champions. We've seen Cole Young transform from a doubting, struggling fighter into a leader, embracing a legacy he never knew existed. Sonya Blade's unwavering dedication and refusal to be limited by a mere mark showcase the power of sheer will and intellect, proving that not all heroes are born with preordained powers. Jax's painful transformation, turning his deepest wounds into his greatest weapons, speaks volumes about resilience and reclaiming one's power from tragedy. Even Kano, in his villainous turn, serves as a stark reminder of the corrupting influence of greed and opportunism, highlighting the choices that define one's path. Each character, with their unique struggles and triumphs, contributes to a larger narrative of defiance against overwhelming odds. The fight for Earthrealm is more than just a clash of realms. It's a testament to the indomitable spirit of humanity. Overall, Mortal Kombat 2021 delivers a visceral, no-holds-barred cinematic experience that truly understands its source material. It's a brutal, action-packed spectacle, full of fan-favorite characters and bone-crunching fatalities that finally bring the game's intensity to the big screen. The character-driven narrative, especially Cole Young's journey, grounds the fantastical elements. It leaves you hyped for the next round, begging for more, and wondering which iconic fighter will step into the ring next.